Does the Deputy Prime Minister support the lifting of the import ban on the Adler shotgun for use in Australian agriculture? Was his department consulted on this ban?
The Deputy Prime Minister has the call.
Well, Mr Speaker, I thank the honourable member for a question. The member for Sydney, I've been waiting about a year for a question from the member for Hunter. Whilst I've been waiting, the Samsung 7 has blown up, caught on fire. Brad and Angelina are no longer Brangelina. I've been waiting for the Santa Claus of politics, the member for Hunter, but he only comes once a year. And it's obviously not my day. It's not my day. But anyway, the member for Sydney is asking me a question, and look, what I can say is this. This is obviously a question that will be discussed by the relevant state ministers. I look forward to their deliberations. You asked me whether we use firearms on farms for pest control. Yes, we do. Whether we use them for recreation. Yes, we do. You should have asked the question about where do most of the illegal firearms come from. They're actually imported illegally, and 97% of crimes we find are actually used by illegal firearms. And how do they get in? Well, they get imported through the post. They get imported through the post, through Sylvania waters.
The Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat for a second. Deputy Prime Minister will resume his seat for a second. I can see the member for Sydney, and I recognise her in a second. The member for Sydney.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
On a point of order.
This is a point of order on relevance. It was a very specific question. What is the Commonwealth's position?
The member for Sydney will resume her seat. The member for Sydney will resume her seat. The member for Sydney will resume her seat, and she will not ignore the chair, or she'll be joining the member for Isaacs. I'm listening very closely. The Deputy Prime Minister is in order.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I am answering the question, and I must say it is a thrill to get asked questions, about the same number of questions for the member for Sydney as I do for the Shadow Minister for Agriculture. But anyhow, we do actually believe in using firearms for pest control. We believe in them for recreation. But what we do know is that overwhelmingly the firearms that are used in crimes are illegally imported. And when we try to get an increase in the sentencing for the people who use those firearms, the people who stood against us was the Australian Labor Party. So the Australian Labor Party come to the dispatch box in this instance. Not only is it incongruous that I keep on getting asked questions by the member for Sydney rather than the member for Hunter, the Shadow Minister for Agriculture, but it was also completely incongruous is that the party that stands in the way of stopping illegal firearms coming into this nation is the party today that it's using its absolute and utter hypocrisy to try and implicate us.